You dudes, Oren here. The lights in my kitchen is still on the fridge, but I got another one over here. But we're doing another power rankings this time with the fridge and the fridge magnets and all that good stuff. So, without further ado, let's just get into number one and number two here. No, oh man, can you even see these? Um, Stand by. Okay, you can kind of barely see them. There we go. There's number one there, the Baltimore Ravens, and then number two, the San Francisco 49ers. Arguably a Super Bowl match, which we did see last night, and looks like the Baltimore Ravens won this round. And even though Lamar Jackson got tripped by a ref in the end zone and then did intentional grounding, which led to the safety for the 49ers to start off that game. So 49ers showed promise there, but then the interceptions started coming for Brock Purdy to the likes of Kyle Hamilton and all that stuff. And then the 49ers finally experienced what the Detroit Lions had to experience and what the Seattle Seahawks had to experience and what, for the most part, the rest of the league is experiencing. So Baltimore is the top all-around team in the NFL right now, and they've proven that because they've beaten the 49ers, who have crushed other super good teams before, like the Eagles and the Cowboys and that sort of thing. So right now, Baltimore is the best all-around team until proven otherwise. Their only weakness, arguably, is their own division opponents, because the AFC North can be quite brutal. So, who have they lost to? Like the Browns and the Steelers, and there's one other loss somewhere in there, but AFC North is their Achilles heel. So if you want to stop Baltimore, you got to stop them there and all that. And then, San Francisco is still a really good team too. They just beat the only other team that's better than them, the AFC version of them, or the Eagles or whoever. And, they still got Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy, who had a bad game, but they're both MVP candidates. Nick Bosa is still doing his thing, even though he's double teamed all the time. The only other person I can think of double teamed more than Aiden Hutchinson, really. So, and then number three, hopefully you can see that, Miami Dolphins. What the one thing we've been saying that separates the Dolphins from being a good team, a great team, they got to beat another good team. And it looks like they finally gritted out a win against another great team, being the Dallas Cowboys. And, they've proven they can dominate without Tyreek Hill, arguably the best offensive player in the league, when he didn't play a couple of weeks ago. And they won against the Cowboys by 2 points there. So, and they also clinched a playoff spot as well with their win. And then number four, just let us have this one, you guys. It's been far too long for us. Can you see it all right? The Detroit Lions, the NFC North champion Detroit Lions 2023-2024. And they played the Vikings in Minnesota. I was at that game, and it was not an easy environment to play in, because it does, even though Ford Field, in my opinion, is the loudest, US Bank Stadium is loud too, and it's a huge place there. And they got the skull chant and everything, even though the Vikings had their backup quarterback in, and then TJ Hawkinson, and I think Addison was also injured as well. I missed the Addison injury, but Detroit got took care of business with not only their offense and the likes of Jahmyr Gibbs, but now their defense is starting to get the turnovers that they need. And Dan Campbell said in a press conference a week ago that the final missing piece of the formula that they need is their defense to get the turnovers. And players like Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, and now Ifeatu Melifonwu, who's doing a whole bunch of good stuff for the Lions. The first Matthew Stafford draft pick from the trade from years ago, with that extra third-round pick back in the 2021 draft. He's finally coming into his own, and I'm happy to see it. I was wrong about him before, because he wasn't producing, even though he was a Brad Holmes draft pick, but now he's doing some good things as a safety. So, and then number five, the Cleveland Browns here. I still think they're worthy of being a top five team. Their best defense in the league who is their edge rusher? Is it Myles Garrett? Whoever it is, he's the defensive player of the year candidate for sure. And, with Jim Schwartz as your defensive coordinator, even though Cleveland has all sorts of injuries on their offense, the quarterback, the running back, and, the defense, the tackles and all that, they have veteran leadership under Joe Flacco that's helping them get the job done. And Cleveland is one of the teams that has double-digit wins this year. They'll probably going to be in the playoffs, mixing it up as well. In an offensive league, Cleveland's got the best defense. So, they may just be the monkey in the wrench for some teams in the playoffs coming up soon. Yeah. And then this is where I have some of the top teams that are struggling recently starting to come down here. So Philadelphia Eagles at number 6, who just beat the New York Giants, but who hasn't beaten the New York Giants? But still, though, you have Matt Patricia as your defensive coordinator. What do you expect by allowing them to get back into the game and scoring 20+ points there? So the Eagles, they still have the tush push, and they still have a lot of talent in just about every position group in their team. So I still expect them to be, in the a factor in the playoff runs. So they are tied with Detroit for record lead and all that. There's actually a 3-way tie, I think, between the 49ers, Lions, and the Eagles, but San Francisco beats both those teams based on better conference record within the conference, and Philadelphia beats out Detroit in the tiebreaker because of strength of victory. That's according to the playoff format for the standings on ESPN.com. So in case anybody's wondering that there. Still, though, the Eagles have lost a series of games recently. So, they're ranked lower than what they normally would be there as well. And then you got the Dallas Cowboys here at number 7, who has a slightly worse record than Philadelphia now, even though they did beat them recently, but they did lose to the Miami Dolphins. So, they're there for that reason. Seems like a natural spot for them to be the top wild card team in the NFC right now until they can prove us otherwise. They are going to be playing, they lost to the Miami Dolphins, who struggle in December and that sort of thing, and they're going to be playing the Detroit Lions coming up. So, even though Detroit has more momentum than the Dallas Cowboys, I think Dallas right now is probably the all-around better team than Detroit. That's my honest opinion, and I'm saying that as a Lions fan, because Dallas has a really good defense as well as a really good offense, and yeah, but despite what's happened with them in the playoffs in recent years, Dallas should be a force to be reckoned with in these last few weeks in the regular season as well as in the postseason. And then I put number 8, the Buffalo Bills here. They've been pretty hot lately. They've been really good ever since Ken Dorsey got fired, and Josh Allen's doing Josh Allen things, and so that they're back in the playoff hunt. And I think if the playoffs ended today, they'd be one of the wild card teams. So they're starting to get hot at the right time, and good for them. And hopefully maybe they can return to the form that they were last year when everybody thought that they were the Super Bowl favorites. And here's number 9, the Kansas City Chiefs. You're lucky I didn't drop you out of the top 10. You lost to the Raiders on Christmas Day at Arrowhead. And you had Taylor Swift ringing her bell every time Travis Kelce did something there. But, the back-to-back defensive touchdowns surrendered within 7 seconds of playtime of each other. It's, that's something that good teams don't do. And it was an attempted trick play where, Pacheco caught the direct shotgun snap and then tried to hand off to Mahomes, but I guess Mahomes missed the handoff or whatever, resulting in a fumble and a scoop and score by the lineman who would eventually take home the Slime Time blimp award or whatever you call it there. So I was also really disappointed in that Nickmas game because they didn't have Patrick Starr back to roast anybody, just like last year with the Broncos and Russell Wilson, or puns about Baker Mayfield baking cookies or pie, but at least they did promote that the Bikini Bottom people are going to be the main people for when Nickelodeon does the Super Bowl. So in addition to wherever the Super Bowl is being broadcast primarily, it's also going to be on Nickelodeon, and the Bikini Bottom crew is going to be there. So we're looking forward to that. Oh yeah, there's a 10th team I got to talk about here. The Tampa Bay Bucks, and they have a 4-game winning streak going on right now, which is why I put them there. So, one of the best in the leagues. And I was just talking about Baker Mayfield, baking the cookies and the pies, and comeback player of the year candidate, and all that good stuff. And I still think the NFC South is, a bunch of mid teams trying to, like, who wants to win the division? I guess Tampa Bay does the most right now. So that's where we're going with that. So just to recap, number 1, the Ravens, number 2, the 49ers, number 3, the Dolphins, number 4, the Lions, number 5, the Browns, number 6, the Eagles, number 7, the Cowboys, number 8, the Bills, number 9, the Chiefs, number 10, the Bucks. So that's my top 10. Again, I apologize for the lighting. So I got to fix some lights here in this kitchen at some point, maybe during this holiday break or whatever. And all right, guys, here we are. We're going to do the Pigskin Pickems. We're going to try to predict the winners and losers of each of this upcoming week of football, the second to last week of the regular season. And I know a lot of the focus is probably going to be on these college football playoff bowl games and whatever. So, but we still have enough NFL season to focus on here. So Thursday night, looks like, who do we have? Amazon Prime Video type of game. New York Jets versus Cleveland Browns. Battle of the two teams with the great defenses. So I think Cleveland's just an all-around better team. So I think I'll just go ahead and pick them. Although I would not be surprised if the Jets tried to play spoiler here. But what quarterback do they have to do that with? And then here's a Saturday night game. This is like the Monday Night Football game by ESPN, except they're doing it on Saturday. The Detroit Lions versus the Dallas Cowboys. And this one is a very difficult one for me. Shoot. When I did my preseason video, I predicted that the Cowboys would win this game. And like you just heard me talking about, I do think Dallas is the all-around better team than Detroit right now. And what makes Dallas stand out against Detroit is their defense. Even though Detroit's defense has improved the last couple of games, especially with turnovers and things of that nature. But Detroit overall as a team has more momentum than Dallas, who did just lose to the Miami Dolphins, who typically don't win on December. Let's go ahead and get to the shield deck here. I swear I was shuffling this really good earlier. You just can't see it because it's below the view of the webcam. All right. Let's see who the shield deck has drawn this week. What is that? It's so dark I can't even see it here. It is a number 5. Who is number 5 here? The Cleveland Browns. Congratulations, Cleveland Browns. You've been shielded from any curses that might come your way during this upcoming week of NFL. So if you get the 5 of hearts, so good luck with that. And hey, the Dolphins, they got it last week, and they wound up winning against the Cowboys. And I want to reiterate, just because you get that win this card doesn't mean you automatically win. It just means you don't lose because somebody tried to curse you. So just want to once again clarify that. And needless to say, the only time when there was a match a couple of weeks ago, a curse wheel tried to pick the Detroit Lions, while at the same time I picked the shield deck, picked a card to shield them from the curses. And guess what? Detroit won the game. They dominated the game. So my shield deck can stave off curse wheels and that sort of thing. So just something that can for your future consideration. And yeah, and then that's all I have for you guys. And then until next time, Go NFC North champion Lions and one pride.